Today, we're tackling a huge question I personally had and see all the time from fellow veterans and service members. Can you really use that incredible VA home loan benefit more than once? Seriously, is it just a one-shot deal? There's this common myth floating around that once you use it, that's it, benefit gone, and the fear kicks in, right? Are you stuck saving up massive down payments for your next place, paying PMI, missing out on the best loan product out there? Let's clear that up right now. For those new here, my name is Blaise, Marine Corps veteran, founder and lead engineer for Hate AI, the housing agent that does everything for you. It makes managing rental properties as close to passive as possible so you can finally get that passive income through real estate. I used my VA loan for my first house back in 2022. I just finished up the renovations. Sweat equity is real, folks, and I'm getting ready to rent that property out. And I'm actively in the process right now of using my VA loan benefit again to buy my second home later this year. So stick with me because in this video, you're going to learn exactly why your VA loan is a powerful lifetime benefit. I'll show you the steps and strategies to reuse it, how to avoid some costly mistakes I see vets make, and how you can potentially use this amazing benefit to build real wealth through real estate. Let's dive in. So why is this so important? Because understanding this can literally save you thousands of dollars compared to conventional loans. Think zero down payment potential, no private mortgage insurance. It unlocks the door to owning multiple properties, maybe building a rental portfolio. Bottom line, this is a benefit you earned through your service, and you deserve to know how to use it to its absolute fullest potential. Don't leave money on the table. Alright, let me share my own quick story because maybe it sounds familiar. I bought my first home using my first VA loan in 2022. I was actually very relieved because up to that point, we were just living in an apartment. We had our downstairs neighbor, we had our upstairs neighbor, that whole awkward deal. And it's not to, like, if you're in that situation, you need to live in an apartment, then do what you have to do. But everyone starts somewhere. Like, I could tell you about how when I was younger, my parents shared a townhome with like two other families, and it was cramped in there, but you got to do what you got to do. And maybe when it was finally time for me to move on to the next stage of life, owning my own property, owning my own home, so be it. And I was so excited. I remember being so happy when I finally got that first property. And I was also thinking, all right, so that's it. I just purchased my home. I just used the VA loan. I guess that's it. And up until recently, so that was 2022. Fast forward to today, we just finished up renovations almost all the way. There's still a little bit here and there, but pretty much all the way done. And the whole point of it was I did a lot of research, seeing what all these other veteran real estate influencers in general, talking about how you can rent out your house. So I did my research and I'm trying to share that info with you now. And I know that you can do it. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. I'm just a couple of steps ahead of you, unless you're, for some reason, already have used your VA loan multiple times. Don't know why you're watching this video. This is definitely for those of us who maybe they just purchased their first home with the VA loan and you're planning on that next phase, getting a second home. Ideally using a VA loan if possible. No money down, no PMI, all that good stuff. And as the family grows, like the house we live in now isn't going to be big enough for the family that we intend to have. We got 4 kids. We want probably like 1 or 2 more. So that house was 4-bed, 2-bath, and it would be a little bit cramped. So if you want to have a big family, you got to have enough rooms for that family. So it was time to look for other options. Time to find a bigger house, more rooms. And I felt a lot of fear when I started to think, like, wait, can I even get another VA loan? Do I have to sell this place first? Am I going to have to pay 20% down now? That 20% down, that could be like, talking maybe like we're in the budget of 400 to 500K. That's a lot. That's like 80 to 100 grand. We don't just have that laying around without sacrificing other things like selling selling the cars that we need, and we have big family, need to have big cars so they can fit everyone. So I was genuinely concerned about losing access to that zero down benefit. That's like the big key to enable veterans to get into real estate investing. And I started searching for answers. Like I said, I was researching, started talking to lenders, started researching online, and I actually read the actual VA guidelines. And you won't believe what I found. And then the aha moment. I was digging through the VA guidelines, and I've found out that the VA loan program isn't designed as a one-off. At least you are able to work around that. And it's specifically structured to accommodate the lives of service members and veterans. So I started connecting the dots. I saw the rules about things like PCS moves, entitlement restoration, and using the remaining benefit, and it all made sense. You could use your VA loan, you can reuse your VA loan, and you can use it to get into this real estate game. So the key to unlocking this reuse potential was understanding one critical concept. And that golden ticket, my friends, is your VA loan entitlement. Now listen up, because this is where a lot of people get confused. Your entitlement is not the maximum amount of money you can borrow. That's probably the biggest myth out there. Think of it like this. Entitlement is the VA's guarantee to the lender. It's the VA saying, hey, Mr. Banker, we trust this veteran. We'll back a portion of this loan if, worst case scenario, they can't pay. It's that guarantee that makes lenders feel safe giving us those incredible terms, potentially zero down payment, no PMI. Managing this entitlement is the absolute core of reusing your benefit. Okay, so entitlement comes in two main flavors you need to know about. On one hand, you have full entitlement. This is the goal, the ideal scenario. It means 100% of your VA guarantee is ready to go. Maximum power. On the other hand, you have the remaining benefits, sometimes called partial entitlement. This is what you use when you haven't fully restored your benefit. Maybe you still own that first VA house. It's still incredibly powerful. We're going to break down exactly how to get and use both, starting with busting the biggest myth. Myth number 1. You use it once, it's gone forever. Absolutely busted. The reality is, your VA loan is a lifetime benefit. The goal often is to get back to having your full entitlement available. Full entitlement means that a full 100% VA guarantee is ready for your next purchase. You typically have this if you've never used the benefit, or if you've used it before and paid off the loan and sold the property, or if you unfortunately had a default but have since repaid the VA in full. And why is full entitlement the goal? Because it unlocks a massive superpower. Thanks to the Blue Water Navy Vietnam Veterans Act back in 2019. If you have your full entitlement, the VA generally doesn't set a loan limit for loans over $144,000. That means you can borrow as much as a lender qualifies you for it, even for higher priced homes, potentially with $0 down. This gives you incredible buying power, especially if you're moving to a more expensive area. It's an absolute game changer. Okay, myth number 2. Alright, Blaise, I get it. I can restore my entitlement, but I have to sell my current house first, right? Busted. Selling is definitely the most common way, but it is not the only way to get your full entitlement back. Let's look at the paths. Path number 1, the standard route. You sell the property you bought with the VA loan. You use the proceeds to pay off the VA loan completely. Then, you apply to the VA to restore your entitlement. Simple, straightforward, very common, especially during PCS moves. Now, path number 2 is really interesting, especially for folks like me who want to keep that first property, maybe turn it into a rental, which I am definitely doing. This is the one-time restoration. Here's how it works. You have to pay off the original VA loan on that first property. Often, this happens by refinancing it into a different type of loan, like a conventional loan. Once that original VA loan is paid off, even though you keep the house, you can apply to the VA for the special one-time restoration of your full entitlement, allowing you to buy your next primary residence with full VA benefits again. Okay, pause. Before you jump on the one-time restoration, you have to understand this warning. They call it one time for a very specific, very important reason. You can only use this specific exception once in your lifetime. And here's the kicker. If you use this one-time restoration and then later down the road, maybe years later, you want to restore your entitlement again, say after selling that second house, the VA will likely require you to have sold or disposed of all properties you ever acquired using a VA loan. That's a massive future restriction. It gives you immediate power, but can seriously limit your flexibility later. It's a major strategic decision, so think long and hard before using it. And remember, whichever path you take for restoration, selling, or the one-time option, it is not automatic. You or your lender must formally apply to the VA using VA Form 26-1880, the request for certificate of eligibility. You'll need to provide proof, like your closing statement showing the sale and payoff, or proof of the original VA loan was paid off if using the one-time restoration. Your lender can often do this electronically, which is usually the fastest way. Alright, final myth for today. Okay, Blaise, I want to keep my first house. I still owe money on its VA loan, and I'm not ready or maybe don't even want to use that one-time restoration yet. Am I stuck? Can I not buy again? Busted. You absolutely can buy again without full restoration. This is where your remaining entitlement comes into play. This is exactly the situation I'm in right now, and it's super common for active duty who are PCSing or vets like me who are moving and want to keep their first home as a rental, or maybe upgrading locally and holding on to that first property. You use your remaining entitlement when you still own a property with an active VA loan on it, or maybe you paid off the loan via refi but didn't use the one-time restore. You're essentially using the portion of your VA guarantee that isn't tied up in that first property. Okay, so how does it work? It gets a little bit into the weeds with calculations, which is why a good VA lender is key, but here's the basic idea. The VA looks at the maximum amount they would guarantee in the county where you're buying the new house. Then they subtract the amount of your entitlement that's already being used on your current VA loan. What's left over is your remaining available guarantee for the new purchase. This remaining guarantee amount directly impacts how much you can potentially borrow on the next house with zero down payment. And that brings us to the big question. Will you need a down payment if you use remaining entitlement? The answer is maybe. Getting zero down is still often possible if the price of the new house fits within the loan amount supported by your calculated remaining guarantee. You might still be looking at zero down, which is awesome. However, if the house you want to buy costs more than the calculated zero down limit, you will likely need to bring some cash to closing as a down payment. Typically, the lender will want the combination of your VA remaining guarantee plus your cash down payment to equal at least 25% of the new loan amount. So you'd usually pay 25% of the difference between the purchase price and your zero down limit. Again, the math involves county loan limits that change yearly. Don't try to guess this. Work with a VA savvy lender who does these calculations every day. They will tell you exactly what's possible for your specific situation. And I got a little something cooking up that it's a free tool that will help you calculate this, but it's not done just yet, so stay tuned. Okay, you feeling like you got this now? Because you should be. You now know it's possible to reuse your benefit in several ways. So what's the actual roadmap look like for buying that next home using your VA loan? Let's walk through the key steps. Step 1, absolutely critical, non-negotiable, know your status. You need to get your updated Certificate of Eligibility, your COE. This is the official VA document that tells lenders you're eligible and shows exactly how much entitlement you have, whether it's full or remaining. Don't rely on an old one. Step 2, equally critical, partner up with a lender who is a true VA loan specialist. Not just someone who can do VA loans, but someone who specializes in them, understands entitlement inside and out, and can navigate the process smoothly for you. Ask them how many VA loans they closed last year. Don't be shy. Step 3, qualification. Just like any loan, you need to meet the lender's requirements for credit and income. The VA wants to see you can afford the payments. And if you're keeping that first house like I am, you'll need to show you can handle both mortgage payments. Although potential rental income from the first property can definitely help offset that. Step 4, occupancy. Remember, VA loans are for your primary residence. You have to intend to live in the home you're buying. The VA generally expects you to occupy within 60 days, but there are exceptions, especially for active duty folks with deployment orders. A spouse occupying can often meet the requirement, and delays related to service can be approved. Step 5, appraisal and closing. The lender will order a VA appraisal to make sure the house is worth what you're paying and that it meets the VA's basic safety and soundness standards. The minimum property requirements are MPRs. Then you head to closing, sign the final paperwork, and pay any required closing costs, including the VA funding fee. Ah yes, the VA funding fee. This is a one-time fee paid at closing, and it's how the VA keeps this amazing zero-down, no PMI program running for all of us. Good news is it can be usually rolled in to the loan amount, so you don't have to pay for it out of pocket. Now, key thing for reuse. The funding fee percentage is typically a bit higher if it's your second or subsequent time using the VA loan and you're putting less than 5% down. However, if you do put down 5 or 10% or more, that subsequent use fee drops significantly, often down to the same rate as first-time users making similar down payments. Okay, huge alert here. This is potentially thousands of dollars back in your pocket. Certain veterans are completely exempt from paying the VA funding fee altogether. Who gets this amazing break? Primarily veterans who are receiving VA compensation for a service-connected disability, like me. Also, those entitled to receive disability comp but get retirement or active duty pay instead, certain Purple Heart recipients, and eligible surviving spouses. This is massive. Make sure you check your certificate of eligibility before you close on the loan. If you qualify for the exemption, it needs to be reflected on that COE so you aren't charged incorrectly. Don't rely on getting a refund later. Get it right up front. Alright, let's do a quick flyby recap of your VA loan reuse playbook. Number 1, it is a lifetime benefit. Bust that one and done myth. Number 2, entitlement is the key. Understand full versus remaining. Number 3, you can restore your full power by selling, or you can use that one-time restoration, but use that one strategically and know the future impact. Number 4, you can often buy again using remaining entitlement to own multiple properties. And number 5, know the process. Get your COE, find a VA specialist lender, understand occupancy rules, and know about the funding fee, especially those exemptions. Okay, team, your mission, should you choose to accept it, take action. What's the very next step? Go check your entitlement status. Get that updated COE. You can often do it online through VA portal or ask your lender. Then start researching and talking to VA specialist lenders in the area where you plan to buy. Ask them about their experience with reuse scenarios. And hey, if this video was helpful, do me a solid. Hit that like button down below. It really helps the channel. And subscribe if you haven't done already for more tips specifically for veterans and active duty service members navigating real estate and benefits. Finally, drop a comment. Do you have questions I didn't cover? Have you reused your VA loan? Share your story. Let's learn from each other. Look, you served, you sacrificed, and you earned this incredible benefit. Don't let confusion or myths stop you from using it to its full potential. Whether you're buying your first, second, or even third home with a VA loan, know that it's possible. Thank you so much for watching today. Go out there and make things happen. Blaze out.